Now, we talked about some of the external forces the Knicks will be facing this offseason, like trades and free agency. Let's talk about some of the internal issues that the Knicks are going to have to come to grips with, and we'll see which direction they take. One is Julius Randle's contract, upcoming extension for this season, and also Mitchell Robinson's extension situation, how the Knicks are going to play that out. First, I want to start off with Mitchell Robinson. Of course, the Knicks have him on a great deal. It's only $1.8 million for a year. They can either let him hit restricted free agency this offseason, in which they'll be able to match. Now, this could work out well if the Knicks are able to pull off a trade and perhaps get a max deal guy like Damian Lillard. This is just an example. Or they go after another big name player that's going to take a lot of cap. Then even though that superstar play takes up a lot of cap space, it won't matter because the Knicks are allowed this offseason to go over the cap and re-sign Mitchell Robinson. So this scenario would only apply to this offseason because Mitchell Robinson is a restricted free agent. It wouldn't apply next year because he would be an unrestricted free agent. So we would not be allowed to go over the cap next year. So keep that in mind. The only thing with Mitchell Robinson is very difficult to evaluate how valuable is he, because this season he was injured, in and out the roster, and his replacement that we got on a one-year deal was able to almost duplicate the production that he will provide. So I'm wondering how much money he will be asking for. And in today's NBA, it's not that hard to find a center that can at least give you decent minutes to protect the rim for about 25 minutes a game plus. It's not that difficult, and it doesn't cost as much money. So that's one thing that Knicks fans should be looking at, and it might be a cause for concern. And I'll also say this about Mitchell Robinson. He shoots about 56% from the free throw line. And I know he's stated a few times that he wants to shoot three-pointers, that he wants the Knicks to let him play his game. But it's hard for them to run plays to let him shoot three-pointers when he's shooting that type of percentage just from free throws. And also, how much is a center worth where his game mostly relies on alley hoops and just a point guard setting him up in his position? It's not like Mitchell Robinson has a mean front-facing game where he could post you up and he could take a hook shot, or he has a mean off-the-glass turnaround jumper. His front-facing game isn't that good. So what is his real value in the marketplace? That's something that a lot of Knicks fans have to really think about, and I'm wondering how Leon Rose will approach this, especially due to the fact that he was able to successfully replace Mitchell Robinson's production this year in a one-year signing with Nerlens Noel. Now, looking at Julius Randle's contract, he is eligible for a 4-year extension this offseason, where it can range anywhere from $106 million to $116 with bonuses. Or if Randle wants, and most likely if he believes in himself, he will decline that extension and be eligible for a whopping $204 million deal over 5 years. Now, the reason why Julius Randle isn't eligible for the 204 this season, even though he's a 7-year player, is because he opted out of the Lakers. Once again, you guys could check out, I'll leave a link in the description below of that video that I made about Randle's dysfunction with the Lakers, and it kind of left him in a sticky situation as far as his contract this season. But going back to the current issue at hand, pretty much Randle has to bet on himself for another year. Could be risking injury, or he could be risking another floppy season potentially, which would decrease his value in the marketplace. But overall, last season, Randle shot about 41% from three and 81% from the free throw line. So Randle is going to have to bet on himself once again if he wants to re-up for that 204. Now, the Knicks, to give Randle at least some sort of guarantees in case he does get injured, they could give him a 1-and-1 this offseason. They could sign him on a 1-year deal and give him the option of re-ing up next year. More than likely, if everything works out well, Randle will be able to opt out next season and then re-up with the Knicks again for the 204 over 5 years. That's if everything works out. He would have to have another good season just like this year, and he would have to be injury-free to prove his worth. So that's pretty much the conundrum that Randle is facing. It's very unfortunate because under normal circumstance, he would have qualified for the 204 over 5 years right now in a peak season that he just had. So once again, it'll be very interesting to see how this gets approached, how Leon Rose kind of finesses the situation, or how Randle even handles this situation, because once again, if he opts out, he's going to take full risk, and he's going to take the belief in himself that he could continue to provide value in the marketplace. So by the time next season hits, he can re-up for the 5 years for $204 million.